Hey, and we're back, folks. I'm your host, BKP. Good morning from the office, North Georgia's only live online morning show. Now, tomorrow morning, let me just say this. Tomorrow morning, we will have David Schaefer will be our guest. David Schaefer is running for lieutenant governor here in Georgia. He's running for lieutenant governor. He will be our guest. He's been endorsed by Newt Gingrich. He's been endorsed by Ted Cruz. We're going to find out tomorrow what those endorsements mean. I'm trying to look at some. All right, now tariffs, China. Now, I asked a question this morning. I want to know something. Are the American people ready? Okay. Are you ready to... Now, Trump is keeping campaign promises. And, you know, through the campaign, and one of the enunciations that people love is when Trump said China, okay? So you listen during the campaign at Trump say China. You listen to the campaign about protecting our southern border and stopping the flow of illegals coming across there. You listened in the campaign of him saying that we did not get anything out of the Middle East. We could have at least took the oil. We should have taken the oil. And I much agree with that. We left the blood of our children on the sand over there. We have spent $7 trillion. You listen to that on the campaign. He is saying, hey, if Syria, obviously the public sector does not know how to negotiate, and there's no need. You just go to state capitals. You just go under the dome there in Washington, D.C. You just pass things to fund the next level, totally unaware of where the money comes from. Now, they'll say, yes, I am a good steward of the taxpayers' money, and yes, I am aware of where the money comes from. No, they don't, okay? That's how they continue to fix, as they call it, repair, move forward, create, all the above, is just pass some legislation that continues to take your money. So they don't understand negotiation. None whatsoever. Trump did not seem to look like he was going to endorse NATO. Revenues to NATO have gone through the roof from other countries paying their share. Trump is discussing moving out of Syria. Hey, we spent $7 trillion. We haven't gotten any oil. We have decimated ISIS. The news will not report that we've decimated ISIS, and we're going to move out. But Saudi Arabia does not want us to move out. They don't want us to leave the region. There's people that don't want us to leave. Trump says, hey, you got to pay. Where do we send our invoice? Right? You want us to stay? Can't be on the backs of the American people. So he is not giving, watch the liberal media, he is not giving a date, a line in the sand like Obama did that created ISIS, folks. He is giving a line in the sand that is saying, you want us to stay, here's what it cost, here's our bill. We're not going to subject the American. See, Obama did not leave ISIS to stop spending trillions of dollars. I mean, leave and pull out of Iraq and Afghanistan to stop, to save trillions of dollars. He didn't do that. Watch what happens here, okay? So ISIS is decimated. He wants to pull out of Syria. People don't want him to pull out of Syria. So he's, hey, here's what it's costing. So there is another campaign promise, okay? Tariffs on China. Let's just go here. Now, real clear politics. This is what they don't want to talk about. All right? Real clear politics. All right? 7 years ago, this article is from February 4th, 2015 by Scott Paul. They won't discuss this. 7 years ago, a rising political star and U.S. Senator from Illinois. Illinois. I wonder who that is. 7 years ago, a rising political star and U.S. Senator from Illinois wrote the following to Bush administration Treasury Secretary Henry Paulson. The subject was currency manipulation. This is what Barack Obama wrote. Currency manipulation. Your department's refusal to take action raise serious questions about the administration's commitment to protect the interest of the American businesses and American workers. Wait a minute. Obama wrote that to George Bush. Now, this article's from 2015. Refusing to acknowledge this problem, the senator continued, will not make it go away. The administration's refusal to take strong action against China's currency manipulation will also make it difficult to obtain congressional approvals for renewed trade promotion authority as well as additional trade agreements. But the eager as Senator Obama was to do something about, this clear form of trade cheating, interesting, President Obama has been, done nothing, basically. Even mustering up a simple acknowledgement of the problem has proven difficult for his administration. Barack Obama is now halfway through the back nine of his second term presidency. During the past 6 years, he has had plenty of chances to correct the problem of international currency manipulation, but he's done a complete inadequate job. China's yen stands at the same level against the dollar as it did back in 2012. Remember, this is 2015. That's not progress. The U.S. trade deficit with China has reached an all-time high under this administration. Obama, not Trump. Japan's yen has plunged by more than 50% against the dollar over the past 3 years, and the American exports to Japan have declined along with it. This data means one thing: we've lost a lot of job opportunities in the United States because the administration is not willing to take measures to stop currency manipulation. Now the administration wants congressional support for Trade Promotion Authority, TPA, and Trans-Pacific Partnership, TPP trade agreement. So you would think if there was ever a time the administration would get serious about currency, this would be it. Wrong. Okay? The list goes on and on. Currency manipulation. Senator Obama called it out. Senator Obama said that the Bush refusing to acknowledge the problem, the department refuses to take action, raises serious questions about the administration's commitment. Now, I ask you, are you prepared? Okay? Are you prepared for the pain that may be incurred for President Trump to clean up another deep state disaster? Here's what President Trump tweeted out. We are not in a trade war with China. We're not in a trade war with China. That war was lost many years ago by the foolish, incompetent people who represented the U.S. Barack Obama, as a senator, acknowledged this problem, acknowledged how deep the trade deficit was getting, acknowledged the currency manipulations. The Bush administration did nothing. The Obama administration did nothing. They have done nothing for years. All right? Now, this is a deep state problem, and that's why the left media is going crazy, and that's why the stock market is tanking, okay? Quit listening to soybean in Iowa. Period. I don't know you in Iowa. And I don't know the soybean farmers, but I'll extend a heartfelt "we love you" in Georgia. I'll extend, we'll do anything we can to help you out. In fact, order me some soybeans now. I'll eat them for lunch. But the reality is, folks, that the media, they went nuts over Sinclair Media, but the media has a narrative the deep state is pushing to make you think that President of the United States is trying to do something to China that is going to destroy our country. And this is the tweet: "We are not in a trade war with China." This is from President Donald J. Trump. "That war was lost many years ago by the foolish or incompetent people who represented the U.S. Now we have a trade deficit of $5 billion a year with intellectual property theft of another $300 billion. We cannot let this continue." Now, people keep hearing intellectual property theft, okay? China continues to buy into American companies, to get in, to root in, and steal the intellectual property of that company. They do not want to own the companies. They do not want to be a part of the companies, okay? But they continue to buy into American corporations over and over to get deep enough in to where they can root in, steal the intellectual property, and send it back to China to another company. It's every day the theft continues. We cannot let this continue. Now, the New York Times, all right, the New York Times has put out an article about this, but down the China fires back, announcing tariffs on planes, cars, and soybean. Planes, cars, and soybean. I'm interested. It was just 3 weeks ago on the steel where the EU was going to go after bourbon. What else? Levi's and something else, okay? But there's a place where you could go, and it's billing code 3290-F8. Really boring. And this is from the Office of the United States Trade Representative, okay? This is the document that they're talking about. And you can go all the way down through here and see what determination on acts, policies, practices under investigation. China, number 3. This is your federal government's release on this. They will not tell you this. China directs and unfairly facilitates the synthetic, back up. China directs and unfairly facilitates the systematic investment in and acquisition of U.S. companies and assets by China companies to obtain cutting-edge technologies and intellectual properties and generate the transfer of technology to Chinese companies. I just told you that. And it's right here. I mean, this is a very long document. This is the Office of the United States Trade Representative. It's a docket number here, everything. You can see everything on here. The proposed determination of appropriate action upon determining that these acts, policies, and practices are under investigation or actionable, section so-and-so provides that the trade representative shall take all appropriate and feasible action authorized under section so-and-so, subject to specific direction, if any, of the president regarding such action and all other appropriate, feasible action within the power of the president, and the presidency may direct the trade representative to take under section so-and-so to obtain the element of the act, policy, so on and so forth. Did you understand it? You don't have to read the whole thing. It's right there. It's in black and white, folks. Are you prepared? Are you ready to go through what the President of the United States has to do in a campaign promise he made to you to correct this trade imbalance and bring NAFTA, these trade deals, and this imbalance back to us, the American people, where we need to take control of our destiny. A borderless country is no country at all. Understand? No country at all. A borderless country is no country at all. The President of the United States plans to send the troops down to defend the southern border. We have a 4-minute video we want to play before we run out of time. I want you to hear straight from the President of the United States what his opinion is on Syria, and straight from the President of the United States, not Morning Joe or BKP or anybody, what he plans to do on the southern border. Amanda, do you have that video?
Questions. We're going to also have questions specifically for the Baltics. Steve? Reuters.
Thank you, Mr. President. Some of your military advisors are urging you to keep a contingent of U.S. troops in Syria to ensure the defeat of ISIS. What is your current thinking on this subject? Do you still want them out? And secondly, could you clarify what you meant about having U.S. military guard the U.S. border along with Mexico? Thank you, sir.
Yeah. First of all, the border. The Mexican border is very unprotected by our laws. We have horrible, horrible and very unsafe laws in the United States, and we're going to be able to do something about that hopefully soon. Hopefully Congress will get their act together and get in and create some very powerful laws like Mexico has and like Canada has and like almost all countries have. We don't have laws. We have catch and release. You catch and then you immediately release, and people come back years later for a court case, except they virtually never come back. So we are preparing for the military to secure our border between Mexico and the United States. We have a meeting on it in a little while with General Mattis and everybody, and I think that it's something we have to do. Now, the caravan, which is over 1,000 people coming in from Honduras, thought they were going to just walk right through Mexico and right through the border. As you know, NAFTA is a phenomenal deal for Mexico. It's been a horrible deal for the United States. We're renegotiating it now. But it has been a horrible, horrible, embarrassing deal for the United States. This should have been terminated or renegotiated many years ago. Mexico, we have a trade deficit with Mexico of over $100 billion a year. And I told Mexico yesterday that because of the fact that their laws are so strong, they can do things about it that hard to believe the United States can't. I said, I hope you're going to tell that caravan not to get up to the border. And I think they're doing that because as of 12 minutes ago, it was all being broken up. We'll see what happens. But we have to have strong borders. We need the wall. We've started building the wall. As you know, we have $1.6 billion toward building the wall and fixing existing wall that's falling down or was never appropriate in the first place. And that's very important. As far as Syria is concerned, our primary mission in terms of that was getting rid of ISIS. We've almost completed that task, and we'll be making a decision very quickly in coordination with others in the area as to what we'll do. Saudi Arabia is very interested in our decision. And I said, well, you know, you want us to say maybe you're going to have to pay. But a lot of people, you know, we do a lot of things in this country. We do them for a lot of reasons. But it's very costly for our country, and it helps other countries a hell of a lot more than it helps us. So we're going to be making a decision. We've had a tremendous military success against ISIS, as you know. It's close to 100%, as I just said. And we'll be making a decision as to what we do in the very near future. We'll be consulting also with groups of our people and groups of our allies. Okay?
So you're inclined to pull the troops out?
Say it?
You're inclined to pull the troops out?
I want to get out. I want to bring our troops back home. I want to start rebuilding our nation. We will have, as of 3 months ago, $7 trillion in the Middle East over the last 17 years. We get nothing out of it, nothing. And as you remember, in civilian life, for years, I said, keep the oil. I was always saying, keep the oil. We didn't keep the oil. Who got the oil was ISIS got the oil, a lot of it. That's what funded their campaigns. They took a lot of the oil, and it was largely responsible for funding. We should have kept the oil then. We didn't keep the oil. So I want to get back. I want to rebuild our nation. Think of it, $7 trillion over a 17-year period. We have nothing except death and destruction. It's a horrible thing. So it's time. It's time. We were very successful against ISIS. We'll be successful against anybody militarily. But sometimes it's time to come back home. And we're thinking about that very seriously. Okay? Thank you.
Sometimes it's time to come back home, and we're thinking about that very seriously. They are scurrying over there now to figure out who wants to pony up what amount of money to keep us there, because it's not for free. Trillions of dollars wasted. The man keeps his campaign promises. Period. The southern border must be protected. The flow of people through the southern border, catch and release, needs to end. All right. Reason you have such a turnover in the White House, such a turnover of President Trump's in President Trump's administration, is it's very hard to find a group, even a small group, that will band together with you to go after the deep state and try to drain the swamp. That's hard to get a group that will help you do that. So Amazon and the U.S. postal system, it's really about Amazon knows that they could push the post office to deliver Saturdays and Sundays. They know they could push the post office to get a canoe to go across the lake to send you their Amazon Prime free shipping. They know that the government subsidized the United States Postal Service, and free market companies will not take that on. They know they're getting less than cost delivery. Maybe it's time to let the free market deliver to your mailbox, and you won't be paying billions of dollars a year in subsidies to a failing company. Guess what? We don't get subsidies here. We either fail or make it. Sad to say, that's the only options we have in our business. But you continue to fund the U.S. Postal Service for a billionaire, the world's richest man. That's number one. China, the tariffs. Folks, don't be fooled. The deep state has been giving away your country and your intellectual property for years. There's been no rules whatsoever where the deep state's concerned, giving us away, everything we have away. He has to do what he has to do. I, for one, I'm sorry if you're being hurt in the stock market. I, for one, do not care what the stock market does today. I'm more interested in the President of the United States standing up for our intellectual property, protecting your businesses as Barack Obama wanted Bush to do. See, President Trump is only adhering to the letter that Barack Obama, then Senator Obama, sent George Bush. Hey, just change it to Donald Trump. He's doing something about it there. And last but not least, our southern border. If we don't have a border, folks, we're not a country. And Donald Trump is determined to maintain our sovereign country status by protecting our border. Yes, I know YouTube doesn't want to talk about, they don't want to talk about the motive, okay? The New York Times, and I know it's 10 o'clock. Police identify woman who wounded 3 at YouTube and killed herself. Motive is unclear. No, we know the motive. We didn't get time to do that story today. We know the motive. The left can't tag an NRA whack job with this. They can't tag someone underage with this. They can't tag it in the narrative nowhere. So they want you to feel there was no motive and they can't figure it out. We know what the motive was. We'll go into it tomorrow. And no, we, myself or Amanda, did not inhale any condoms today. Correct, Amanda? I can't see you behind the screen, but you didn't do any of that, right?
I did not do that.
Just want to make sure. Amanda, I'm sorry we didn't get to your 9:30 segment. Please save that up. I apologize for that. Tomorrow, Thursday, David Schaefer will be on our phone, on our show, along with many others. We're lining up guests immediately after the show ends. See who else we have on there. We have not gotten a commitment back from Clay Tippins or Casey Cagle as far as the governor's race. Democrats everywhere, folks. Every district they're running, we didn't have time to talk about that. I'm your host, BKP. We'll be back tomorrow morning, 8 a.m. Take us out of here, Amanda.